Hey guys, this is the fourth board in my Five Motherboards Repair series. This is the Acer V433 486 motherboard, and I gotta tell you, I really like this board. It has 8 30-pin SIM sockets. As you can see, they have the beautiful metal clips instead of those brittle plastic ones. It also has a ZIF socket for the CPU. That's a zero insertion force socket. But more importantly, this board has a standard CR2032 CMOS battery instead of the old school nickel cadmium Varda batteries. The CR2032s, I've never seen one leak, and they seem to last forever. Now on top of that, we also have two 32-bit VESA local bus expansion slots. That's very nice to have. Graphics performance with a VLB video card is much, much better, but we'll come back to that. And the last thing I want to note, if you watch the intro video for this series, you'll remember when I received this board, the window on the BIOS chip was not covered. Now, it's always a little disconcerting to see that. Those chips are UV erasable, so if they get too much sunlight or ultraviolet from any source, it can cause corruption in the BIOS. Now, thankfully, that wasn't an issue here, and even if it was, the BIOS for this board is readily available on the retro web. So let's install some RAM and a CPU. I have four 4 meg 30-pin SIMs. I borrowed those from another board. Let's snap that one in there. And then I have a 486 DX2 66 MHz chip. We'll install that as well. Now, when you're installing one of these CPUs, it's very important to make sure that pin 1 on the chip is lined up with pin 1 on the socket. You can see the corner is cut on the chip. That indicates pin 1. And there's generally a little dot on pin 1 as well. So that chip is in and locked in place. And unfortunately, I don't have a VESA local bus video card, so we'll have to go with this 16-bit ISA card for now. And of course, we'll also need a multi-IO card, and we'll need a sound card for this project as well. And then, of course, I have my 512 meg disk-on module. Now, that's the hard drive replacement. I've already got a copy of DOS 622 and Windows 3.1 on that drive. But before we get to that, I did notice a minor problem with this board. On occasion, it fails to post properly. Now, after a little bit of troubleshooting, I was able to identify what the issue was. Let's put a diagnostic card in there, and I'll show you exactly what I found. These three LEDs indicate the power rails on the board. There's a 12 volt, a 5 volt, and a minus 12. And you see the one in the middle, the 12 volt, doesn't appear to be lit properly. If I jiggle the power connector on the board, you'll actually see that LED flicker on and off. So it appears we have a broken solder joint somewhere on the board. Let's flip that board over and we'll take a look. Okay, so this row of pins, that's the power connector. The 4 in the middle are all ground. And these 3 on the end, if I'm not mistaken, those are 5 volt. So we're looking at this pin here, and that would be the 12 volt. But just to be safe, I'm actually going to reflow all of these and make sure we've got a solid connection. And while we're here, check out this bodge. We have 2 resistors that have been added to the back of the board, most likely done at the factory. That was pretty common practice back in the day. The engineers would discover a problem after manufacturing, and they'd issue a workaround just to avoid having to remake an entire run of boards. Oh, and while we're at it, I'm going to replace this CR2032 battery holder. This one seems unusually large, and it's actually pressing against the power connector. I wonder if that may have been part of our issue here. Now, with a standard CR2032 battery holder in there, you can see now we actually have a gap between the power connector and the battery. And just for comparison, here's the old battery holder. It seems comically oversized. So let's get those cards reinstalled, and we'll power the system on. In BIOS, I'll auto-detect that disk on module. And save that information. And then we'll boot into DOS. So let's go into Windows. Oh, and ignore that error message about the network card. Now, that network card is not present in the system, so of course Windows is going to complain about it. So let's install the drivers for that sound card. The default settings are okay here. Now, of course, with such a powerful system, it'd be a shame if we didn't play a game on this one. Let's load up Doom. That's a great way to make sure the sound is working. I'm just going to mute that for the moment so I don't deafen you. Our sound is definitely working. And yeah, the graphics performance is not bad. Would be a whole lot better with a proper VESA local bus graphics card, but yeah, this is more than playable. Now, unfortunately, it's going to be a while before you see part 5 of this series. That's the IBM Aptiva Pentium board. At the moment, unfortunately, I don't have a compatible CPU for that board, nor do I have the proprietary riser that would go along with. Now, it's probably going to take some time to track one of those down, and I'm not guaranteed to find one. But if you haven't already, you should check out part 1, 2, and 3 of this video series, where I repair a 286 and a couple of 386s. And as to this board, you can expect to see more of this one on the channel in the future. I have a few old x86 Unix variants that I'd like to try out, and this board seems to be a good solid platform for doing exactly that. So beyond that, if you enjoyed this video, please feel free to like and subscribe. Drop a comment down below. And hey, thanks for watching.